Do you appreciate your microbiome enough? Well, I'm about to give you a few facts from the University of Michigan's Microbiome Project that may give a little bit more credit where credit is due to the population of bacteria that we are all a host to. In my last video, I talked about human DNA and the surprising 0.1% of genes that are actually unique between individuals. Well, something even more shocking is that 99.9% of our unique genes are bacterial, and only about 0.1% are actually human cells. Your body is made up of 10 trillion human cells, but you are a host to 100 trillion bacterial cells. That means the bacteria outweigh your own human cells 10 to 1. The total weight of bacteria that we carry around in our bodies can be up to 3 pounds, and that's roughly equivalent to the weight of the brain. I'm Natalie, and I'm currently getting my degree in biochemistry at Bridgewater College, and today I'm hoping to convince you to make a few changes that will enhance your health by prioritizing the quality of your body's microbiome. According to the NIH, the microbiome is defined as all the bacteria, viruses, fungi, archaea, and eukaryotes that inhabit the human body. And it's even being considered its own separate organ with distinct metabolic and immune activity. Many aspects of present-day Western culture are causing the diversity of the human microbiome to shrink, and therefore many diseases are appearing as a result. Since around 2007, when the Human Microbiome Project was launched by the NIH, an imbalance or lacking in our gut microbial community is given the medical term dysbiosis. The NIH found that dysbiosis is linked to gastrointestinal conditions like food allergies, inflammatory bowel disease, and irritable bowel syndrome. It has also been linked to a broader range of diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, and inflammatory responses such as asthma and eczema. Some of the general symptoms that people with dysbiosis experience include bloating, upset stomach, insomnia, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and various metabolic dysfunctions. If you think that you are experiencing this dysbiosis in your microbiome, I want you to think about 2 ways that your everyday life can be improved once you've actually taken the steps to heal your gut. The first thing that you probably will notice is that you're sleeping better and your overall mood throughout the day is a little bit better. Sometimes, even after a long night's sleep, we can still wake up feeling sluggish and fatigued, and this is because of poor quality of sleep. Dr. Michael J. Breus is a world-renowned doctor of sleep medicine, and he credits the gut microbiome with producing and releasing the same sleep-influencing neurotransmitters as the brain. This includes up to 95% of serotonin, or the happiness brain chemical, 50% of dopamine, or the feel-good hormone, and 75% of the darkness hormone, melatonin. The second thing that you probably will notice is that you aren't getting sick quite as often, and cold and flu season may not hold you back as much as it used to. This is because the microbiome has a huge influence on the activity of your immune system. According to Dr. Charles Lewis, a doctor and author of enteroimmunology, 50% of your immune cells reside in your intestines, which is a major component of your gut. In the presence of harmful pathogens, the good bacteria present various signals to stimulate the actions of your immune cells. Specific strains of bacteria can also work to digest various pathogens, so the more variety in your microbiome, the more viruses you can fight off. A study on the Michigan Microbiome Project's website explains that it takes 1 million bacterial organisms of salmonella to infect a mouse with a normal microbiome. However, after only 1 round of antibiotics, it took only 10 organisms of salmonella bacteria to infect the mouse. That is a 100,000-fold difference. Have I convinced you that your gut microbiome should be a priority in your health regimen yet? Well, if so, then there are 2 things that you can do that, if implemented, will gain you the biggest improvement in the quality of your microbiome. The first thing is to reduce your unnecessary antibiotic intake because of how detrimental they are to healthy bacteria. In one study published by the NIH in 2011, Broad-spectrum antibiotics were found to cause rapid and significant drops in the prevalence of 30% of gut bacteria. And even after all antibiotic treatment ceased, it took months and even years for the populations to return to normal. This leads into the second thing that you can do to maintain and heal your gut health, which is increasing your consumption of probiotics. Consuming probiotics regularly will introduce strains of good bacteria in your body, which will repopulate in your microbiota and heal the environment in your gut. There are two main sources of probiotics available, and most people looking to heal their microbiome choose to incorporate both. One source of probiotics is in the form of a dietary supplement. If you are choosing to take a probiotic supplement, Harvard Health recommends 1 to 15 billion CFUs, or colony-forming units, for individuals seeking everyday immune and digestive support. The other source of probiotics is in the form of fermented foods. There are thousands of different types of fermented foods, but I want to highlight a few examples that I find to be the most convenient to carry out on a regular basis. A great way to start off your day with a probiotic-rich breakfast would be by having a few scoops of cultured yogurt with a small glass of raw kombucha. For lunch, an easy swap to keep your microbiome happy would be opting for sourdough bread instead of normal bread on your sandwich. And to keep your gut health momentum going into dinner, consider incorporating a side of miso soup and sauerkraut with your main dish. Hopefully these two steps seem achievable for you to execute for the sake of safeguarding the health of your microbiome that is so unexpectedly vital in the efficient functioning of the entire human body.